It was made up, fabricated stuff. They didn't want to bring the case. They could have brought the case 7 years ago. It's only when you run for office they bring cases. But they would have done that 7 years ago, not in the middle of my presidential campaign, where we're beating Biden, by the way, by a lot. Did you see? And by the way, right after the announcement of this, more campaign funds were given to this campaign than any campaign, they think, in history. Almost $400 million. 400!
Of the job we did.
You have rallied people. I had people in my focus group the other night that said, I have not voted for Trump before, I have not been a Trump fan before, but I have donated to Trump because he has inspired me. I have donated to him and I am voting for him now, and I have not before, but he has inspired me.
Actually, it's been a beautiful thing to watch. Thank you.
Mr. President, it's been an honor speaking with you.
Thank you.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you have a great and wonderful day. And it seems that we see here the great power that is from the American people on what's going on with Trump. And I think that this is something that we have to probably go over here because, as you know, guys heard that he has acquired $400 million in donations. That is insane. And some people are probably thinking, why are you always covering Trump or whatever? It's kind of annoying. I understand, but we have to cover Trump because if we don't keep what's going on with Trump, trying to keep some type of hope alive, then we fail as a country. And we need to know that Trump is here to try to help us, and the actual evidence is right on the wall. This whole guilty verdict on Trump has immensely backfired on the Democrats, so much so that it is just... there's nothing that they can do to stop it. It keeps on getting increased more and more, and I just don't see on how you could just stop this huge outflow. So what we have here is this from the Post-Millennial. Trump announces his campaign raised $400 million post-conviction. Speaking at a Trump Point Action event on Thursday evening, 2024, GOP presumptive nominee Donald Trump announced that his campaign has raised $400 million since his conviction in New York City in late May. I just went through a rigged trial in New York with a highly conflicted, and I mean highly conflicted judge where there was no crime. Trump told the audience they didn't want to bring to the case. They could have brought the case 7 years ago. It's only when you run for the office they bring, etc., etc. So this is huge. And it's people were like, well, it's not 3 or 400 million. It was like, what have you. It's just like, 85 million or whatever, if you're trying to bring it down. But even still, if Trump got 80 million or 75 million in just within 12 hours or 24 hours of his conviction, that's still massive. And this is what's happening here is that this is not some type of thing to where, like, even if you lowball, that's still massive. But when you go into even the middle ground of this, he goes from like 85 million to 200 million. Even if you want to subtract the 100 million that was donated from, like, I guess you could say from another nominee for the Republican Party or what have you, that's still $100 million of money still going to Trump. So even if you lowball this or try to mid-ground it or whatever, there's still a ludicrous amount of money whatever he's had. So if he's raised 400 million, then that is devastating to the Democrats and showing the American people does not like this, do not enjoy this, and this is something they are completely against. And what we have here is the American people speaking their mind. This is what we have from Dr. Phil saying that even people in his own camp, his own meetings and stuff like that, they have not going for Trump, but they're switching their tune. They're changing their tune. After watching his interview, they have changed their opinion and you're now voting for Trump and donating to him, and that is shattering, especially if it was a Dr. Phil audience. So what we have here is this, just this right here. We have this to where it says from this guy named George, he says, Dr. Phil audience says watching his interview with Trump have gave her a new prescription of Trump and says the media has been lying in their portrayal of him. I think it actually gave me an interpretation of him, Trump, that I've never had before. Here's what this lady has to say. Black woman, by the way, which I know race shouldn't really be brought into it, and it shouldn't, but this is a huge thing because Trump just needs the black voter base, just a little bit of it, and it's over for the Democrats.
Watching your interview today, I think it actually gave me an interpretation that I've never had of him before, and us not seeing him more, it actually kind of hurts people on judging him. I guess if that's what the media wants to do, then they're doing a very good job at it.
Yeah, you bet. All right.
That is devastating because what Dr. Phil is doing is now opening the eyes of some people that always or did not like Trump. And this is a massive change. This is something that the media wants to keep on harping down on Trump. Because we all know that the media tries to make Trump become the villain as much as possible. If you're watching MSNBC, if you're watching CNN, if you're watching any of these horrible woke media outlets, they level Trump as this horrible and terrible guy. But with the influence of Dr. Phil, with his influence, he has managed to garner people the complete switch around on Donald Trump, and this is making people realize, wait a minute, have we been hoodwinked this entire time? Have this is just something that has been, we've been lied to? This is huge. This is changing people's minds, and this is making people actually want to go vote for Trump in droves. This is crazy, and we have more from this. This is not just the end. There's more. Dr. Phil audience member says a lot of our friends who voted for Biden are now switching their votes to Trump. I'm upset with my 401k. I'm upset when I go to the grocery store, and they're all voting for Trump now. At this point, the only Democrats can beat Trump is to cheat again. I 100% agree.
About when they ran the first time together, or the second time, and President Biden won, I have a lot of Republican friends and a lot of Democratic friends. I'm kind of neutral, but they talked about good versus evil, and I thought, well, we're not really in a Disney movie, so I don't understand. You may not like him, I get that, but now, 4 years later, the same people I know that have said these things say, I'm really upset with my 401k, I'm upset when I go to the grocery store, and they're all voting for Trump now. So and on the TikTok thing, I do get on TikTok, and most of the people I have followed off and on, their TikToks have been taken down if they have anything about Trump. And I just think this is bias, and so that doesn't help his case at all. They just see one side.
Yeah. Does that bother you that they're taking stuff down because it has that in there? What do you want to say?
Again, this is another devastating thing from the Democrats. See, eventually when you become so authoritarian, your lies start poking out, right? When you start becoming a true, actual dictator, authoritarian, communist, it all starts to slowly bleed out because you can't hide anything. And then when you see the rational people come out and say, well, that doesn't seem right, you are pointing out the danger of what you were actually doing. And there's another thing, too. And what we have here is just a look of what the Democrats and what the Republicans are for 2020 and what he needs to win. Honestly, there are only a very few amount of states that Trump only has to win here in order to actually win for the Republican Party. I mean, if, say for instance, Trump gets like New York here, for any step that they imagine, if Trump gets New York, and he doesn't get maybe North Carolina, which he's gonna obviously get North Carolina, or even like Georgia here. It's like he's still really close to actually just winning the whole thing. This is if it's not winning Georgia or whatever, or what have you, or stuff like that. A lot of these states are the key, swing states are the biggest ones here, and again, this is just removing Georgia and some of these other states, right? And he only needs to win, like Pennsylvania. Like if he loses Georgia, he just needs to win Pennsylvania, or Virginia. He just needs to win Virginia. Like, these are things that he only has to win. There are not very many states that he has to win in order to win the actual presidential election. And New York is a devastation to the Democratic Party. It really is. Because, again, we know that, like, they need some, they're not doing too well there. And Oregon is not really a big deal, but like Washington State is. So, again, these, it seems like he's winning Nevada. It seems like he's winning some other places. It's a detrimental case for the Democratic Party. Like I said, the Democrats are losing in some of these places here, and Trump doesn't need to win very many states. He only needs to win 2 states in order to actually win the whole bloody thing. And if the American people are completely switching here, then it's devastation. Like I said, Trump is winning way too many states, and he's in battle or embroiled in some of these states where they may actually go red for the first time in many years and decades. So I think that we have hope here, guys. I think there is hope. I don't think that we are going to have. I think the people are waking up, and we still have quite a few months left for the election. We still have quite a few things that is going to be happening throughout that time, and if it's going on the upturn that I think it's going, then there's not much that the Democrats can do. I think the only way, as people said, they have to cheat in order to win. That's the only possible way, and we'll see how that goes. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like to share. As always, take care my friends, and good luck.
I'm disgusted by what I see in public. Even people closest to us can't be trusted, 'cause it's algorithmic disease, the social media.